I thank the member for Canberra. The question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the honourable member for Ryan.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak in support of the motion moved by the member for Kingsford Smith. Australians are a caring and compassionate people. We come together in times of disaster and hardship, and our generous spirit never hesitates when a neighbour is in need. As news of the destruction and devastation brought about by Cyclone Pam filtered through to Australia, I was overwhelmed by the very kind and generous offers of support from constituents and friends. The compassion and generosity of the Australian spirit always shines in difficult times, and through liaison with the Office of the Minister for Foreign Affairs, I've been glad to play my part in ensuring that offers of support were accepted and targeted to areas of most need. Among the many, I place on record my appreciation to Gwen Braga OAM and Connected, who volunteered emergency supplies and food to assist the relief effort in Vanuatu, as well as Ron English, who is coordinating provisions of food and water. I also recognise the work of Alan Cox and Churches of Christ Queensland, who, through their medical aid program Churches of Christ Medical Santo, have organised for the provision of 7 medical staff to assist in Vanuatu in addition to their 2 staff currently in Port Vila. I'd also like to mention the Murphy family of Canstruck Constructions, who, in conjunction with the Australian Defence Force, are working to relocate a surplus Force 10 medical centre designed to withstand cyclones to Vanuatu. I also welcome the announcement from the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, the Honourable Peter O'Neill, that his government has very generously committed 5 million kina to support Vanuatu's recovery effort. Mr Deputy Speaker, on Friday the 13th of March, Vanuatu was savaged by Cyclone Pam, a severe tropical cyclone of a Category 5 intensity. From early reports, it has been estimated that 90% of Port Vila homes, as well as entire villages across the archipelago, have been affected. And while much remains unclear as the damage and harm caused by Cyclone Pam continues to be assessed, it is clear from reports that a significant portion of the country has been impacted by this catastrophic event, which has brought extremely damaging winds, very heavy rainfall, storm surges and flooding. Australian reconnaissance missions, which are focusing in the south, have advised that on Tanna Island 80% of homes appear to be destroyed. If members need any indication as to the likely human toll inflicted by Cyclone Pam, it has been estimated that 45% of Tuvalu residents have already been displaced from their homes. Plainly, Cyclone Pam's impact on Vanuatu has been savage, and the recovery effort that will take place will be a long and challenging process for the nation and its people. However, they will not go it alone. Australia, as both a regional partner in the Pacific and a close friend of Vanuatu, has and will continue to provide significant humanitarian and logistical support in both assessment and recovery missions following this disaster. Australia's Minister for Foreign Affairs has pledged $5 million in support to be administered by Australia's non-government organisations, the Red Cross and United Nations authorities, which includes the provision of emergency temporary shelter, essential supplies and support personnel. With the assistance of the Australian Defence Force, supplies and personnel had arrived at Port Vila, and these missions will continue on an ongoing basis. Between Sunday and Wednesday of last week, a total of 9 Australian Defence Force planes departed Australia for Vanuatu, carrying personnel and humanitarian supplies, in addition to a number of aircraft continuing to perform reconnaissance missions. The Australian government also committed to assisting the government of Vanuatu to get the Port Vila Hospital operational again, which involves the deployment of an Australian medical assistance team which will work to establish a temporary hospital ward and boost hospital capacity, which has been severely impacted by the cyclone. The recovery task that is before the people of Vanuatu is immense, and it may take years before life has returned to normal for many of these residents whose homes and possessions have been destroyed by an absolute freak of nature. The Australian government understands the scale of the recovery task and the human impact this disaster has had, and will continue to provide assistance to the government of Vanuatu now and into the future until the job is done. I commend this motion to the House.
I thank the member